Good day, everyone. Welcome again to another edition of Fayette Focus. Harry Wright with you today. My guest, the Fayette County Commissioners, all three. We've got Dan Dean, Tony Anderson, Jack DeWeese. Gentlemen, how are you today?
Doing fine.
Good.
Harry. Thanks.
Wonderful, guys. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day for coming in. We know you're very, very busy. Dan, we'll start with you. You got that microphone handy right there.
Okay.
First off, question I've been asked here lately, how's the county doing financially? We got tax day coming up, and everybody's been saying, Harry, find out how the county's doing.
County's doing well. We're well within budget. Revenue is coming in slightly ahead of last year, and expenditures currently are slightly down from last year. So we're doing just fine.
That's good. So we're nice and solid, and everything in Fayette County is good.
Yes, we are.
Any kind of big financial news that is going to be coming up this year? Anything going on?
Well, we're doing a couple of things. Right now we're doing the renovation out at the courthouse. They're working on the murals, not the Willard murals, but the ones up at the high point, up at the rotunda area. And those have been there since the courthouse was built. The type of work that was done there, the paint is actually blended with the plaster, and it was all starting to flake off. So they're doing some extensive repairs and building those back up currently. Along with that, as far as the financial part that you're talking about, today we decided to make an additional prepayment on the courthouse loan that was taken out with the USDA to refurbish the courthouse, I think 5 or 6 years ago, gentlemen, maybe a little longer than that.
It's been 6 anyway.
Okay. And this will make the third such prepayment that we have been able to make. Each prepayment that we make saves the county $16,000 in interest a year. It was originally a 20-year loan. We're hoping to retire it next year after 6 or 7 years. So the total interest that we will realize savings-wise will be approximately $750,000.
Well, that sounds good.
That is great that we're fortunate enough to be able to do that.
Now, when the loan was taken out over the 20-year period, was there some idea in the back of the mind, like, yeah, we'll get a 20-year loan, but we can really pay it off earlier, or is this a bonus?
I would say it's probably a bonus. That the loan was done, I can't say this very much often now, but it was done before I was commissioner. And
that new guy badge is wearing off.
But times were a little tighter back when that was originally done, and things have gotten better.
All right. Now, guys, when you talk into the microphone, I'm going to have you lean up there because you were a little low on that one, but that's okay.
Okay.
Times were a little tighter, so you were thinking 20 years, but now that we're doing pretty good.
It's always safe, if you can extend out and then pay ahead. So we were trying to get numbers that we could budget and be confident in budgeting, which we did. And then as things turned around for us as a county a little bit, it allowed us to step forward and move ahead.
You're talking right there, Tony. I mean, it's always better to say, okay, well, I can meet this, so let's go ahead and do it. But if I get a little extra, I can go ahead and pay it off.
That's what we thought all along, and it's proven out for us. So.
Yeah, 14 years early. That's kind of nice, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That is kind of sweet. Now, we've got that. There's just so much going on now. People are talking about potholes in the county, and I have to get Steve Luby on here to talk about that. Because he's the man that knows about all the pothole repairs. But as far as infrastructure goes in our county, we're pretty good.
We're really good, but we're working on some high accident areas that, as you know, there was a fatality at 41 and 71, and we have already had people from ODOT into the county, and they're doing some work on maybe an extra turn lane, lighting, all kinds of things may be going to happen up there. We also talked to them about 62 North and a turn lane with all the truck traffic we have up there. And then, as you know, 238 exists no more. It's 38. And maybe some widening in that area. We've talked with ODOT people about all that, and there's a lot of things in the works right now.
Yeah, I talked with Steve Luby earlier, and he was talking about that change with 238. I always thought, the road goes straight. It should be the same road, but no, when you get that light in Bloomingburg and you make that right turn, that's 38, and then 238 was the straight across, and he said, now we're going to do that differently. We're going to make that 38.
38's now a county road. The old 38 that comes around and comes in the other way, it'll be a county road.
So that's what he said. It was going to go revert to a county road,
yes.
and so that kind of was interesting because my whole life I'd wondered about that. Why does the road that goes straight change? When you turn, it's supposed to change, but when you're going straight, you should be on the same road.
Not abnormal at a county change, but roads change names and everything else. But,
right.
That's been an interesting one there.
And Good.
Actually, we probably ought to put in a word about ODOT out. We've been working really close with them, and they've been really responsive to things that we've asked about. And usually we get stuff done with them now.
And I'm thinking about in the past too. Hasn't that been the way? There's always been a good working relationship with the county and ODOT.
It's better than it was.
Better than it was. Okay.
Let's be honest.
Well, okay, there you go. But I think there's some places. One of the things I asked ODOT about was out there where the semi trucks are trying to turn on 22, coming off that little access road in between 22 and 62 out there by McDonald's. It's a hard time with all that traffic coming in from Wilmington and coming out of Courthouse. Sometimes semi trucks have a hard time in making a left turn, and what about a traffic light there to help ease all of that out? And I think one time they put down some strips to see how much traffic got done, and I was reported back to me that there wasn't enough traffic to make it happen.
Well, even at the USA, they brought people in here to do a study, and it went on. It was a federal study, and they did not. I've got the report laying in there. They brought it back to us. It didn't meet the federal guidelines, and if it doesn't meet that, you're not going to get it. So
exactly, and we all know locally there's been quite a few fatalities and bad accidents out there at Jameson Road. But the feds say it doesn't meet the criteria, then it doesn't get the funding. And well, if it doesn't get the funding, we're not going to get the traffic light. That's kind of the way that goes. Tony, what do we got going on in the county now that's coming up that the people need to know about?
Well, can we back up to some more finances for a second, Harry?
We can do whatever you want.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, sure.
Where's that gavel?
Yeah, there you go.
No, we wanted to talk about the hospital financing and the finances that we've been able to manage. We've been fortunate as a county, and the hospital, through its restructure and affiliation with the Ohio State University Medical Center, we've made a very conscious decision as a board of commissioners with our treasurer Susan Dunn and auditor Mike Smith, with a lot of help from the prosecutor's office, that we're going to go ahead and sign a treaty. There's 2 or 3 different ways that can be done, but the language for this will be a treaty that we will now back $2 million of the financing for the hospital. PNC Bank will be bought out. The hospital will use some of its remaining funds. Not remaining, that doesn't sound good, does it? Some of their daily work funds. And we will be taking PNC Bank out. The county has an ability to do that. We've got legal approval to do it. And we've got a lot of cooperation again from the treasurer and the auditor. So it's a team game, and the hospital we think is a very valuable asset to our community still. So we were finishing up some language on it just today, and hopefully we'll be able to wire transfer that money out, remove PNC by the middle of this month. So that's a big help. We think it provides a lot more continuity and a lot less indecision on behalf of the hospital board's needs, to know that the county would be there to back their funding issue.
When you mentioned taking PNC out, I'm not familiar, and a lot of people out there listening right now aren't either. What are you talking about, the involvement of PNC?
I'll let Dan.
PNC currently is the backer of the hospital bonds for their medical arts buildings 2. And they owe approximately $2.5 million remaining on that. It started out with National City, and that's who they did the financing with years ago. And I think it was a 20-year process, and they're well over halfway done with that currently. So the remaining balance is about $2.5 million. I think I said that a second ago. But PNC, with the government regulations they have now, they were wanting to get out of that obligation. They would rather not have a hospital entity, especially since there is no backing as such or any.
There's no real solidity for the bank's viewpoint because it's a county hospital, and we're not going to give up the hospital if the board of trustees there had to stub their toe or something with the Affordable Care Act. Changes the way that they have to do business. So we thought moving forward with county funding.
The county owns the building, so the bank didn't have any backing that way as far as collateral-wise. And so by the county loaning the money to the hospital in this treaty form, and we're legally allowed to loan money to or invest in other governmental entities by the Ohio Revised Code. That was changed a couple years ago. We thought it was in the best interest of the county to use that money to back the hospital and keep it a viable and good opportunity here for the community.
Well, to back up what Dan said, I guess I have been here the longest, and it always hasn't been this nice. At times there was rough areas to get through for the county, and right now we've established a rainy day fund, and we think it's a rainy day for the hospital. But I think we need to go back and thank all the elected officials that have worked cooperatively with us through this whole thing. We went through a period of time there, 3-4 years, that things weren't so good in the whole county, but it seemed like everything seemed to keep our heads above water in the county. So we're pretty happy that the other county officials have worked with us through all this, doing more with less.
Doing more with less. Yeah, we all know about that, and it just reiterates that the voters of Fayette County have done a great job in putting the right people in office. I mean, if you've got that much cooperation and everything's working and everyone's working together, I mean, that's what we want as a voter. We want a team. We want the auditor and the treasurer and the commissioners and everybody to work together.
You do not hear this very often in other counties.
I can bet.
We go to meetings in Columbus, and it's way too evident on this level, down at the county level, why things get so messed up. Commissioners, we meet at county commissioners once a month. Dan's on a small county committee group, and we're on different, and it seems like all the counties want to do at times is find issue and take issue with other people that think they got more money into their side of the budget. They got a better position. They got something, that the others didn't get, and it's a waste of our time to go up there and listen to them air their problems. So, but back on the better news, talking about infrastructure, we never want to lose sight of this mega site that we've got out here at 35 and 71, and we continue to proceed forward with the final, what we consider now to be the final steps. We met the previous criteria to become a job-ready site. Steve Luby did a great job, of shepherding that through the process in Columbus. But now we find that we need to come up with a redundant source of electricity, and we have almost around-the-clock continual discussions with DP&L, it would seem, to bring that in. And any large company that's coming, it's not like your house or my house. We can do without the electric being on for a while if something happens. Well, these folks have millions and millions of dollars invested, and they cannot have a line or an outage coming in from the south. They want it coming around back from the north to come in. So if one side goes down, the other side can pick it up and they can continue operating. And that's going to be anywhere from a $2 to $5 million project.
Yes.
What it appears to be currently. So that is probably the bigger, higher hurdle for us to clear. So we're going to continue to work with the gas transmission lines that run off the southeast corner of the mega site. And we may have talked about that before. There's a metering and reduction building that we need to get established out there. And hopefully we can get a couple in over a longer period of time, so that if there's a problem with one or one gas line, we still have access to the other. That one we think, probably another $4 or $5 million for it. But
yeah, you're right. If our electric goes out in our house, we're inconvenienced for an hour. But take a place like Honda in Marysville. If they shut down for an hour, they lose like $100,000.
Well,
it's very costly for them to be shut down.
Well, besides the technology, the damage that goes on there, that they just can't turn the switch on and that come right back up. So those are the two big ends at that. So we continue to proceed with it. We've got our options finalized, legalized with the one of the bigger landowners out there, and there's always others that we're looking to see if they want to come in and be a participant there. So again, good help from the people that own the land, and good help from both sets of legal entities that are working to try to get just that comma in just the right place in that sentence. So it's very particular for the legal community.
I'm sure that it is. If the comma's in the wrong place, it gives the sentence a whole new meaning, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
You're not kidding. Anything else you guys have for us today?
Well, we might say something about the airport. We just let a contract to pave the runway completely, and we think we have one of the best little airports in the state of Ohio. It's got one of the longer runways for the size of the county, and We can accommodate jets out there, and we're very proud of that airport.
And I think a lot of the jet people come in and fly into Fayette County Airport instead of going on into Columbus International. Number one, it's not as busy, and it's probably maybe a little more economic.
The fuel is cheaper.
The fuel is cheaper. There you go. You got to like that, so you can afford to get a limo service to come out and pick you up and take you to Columbus, because you're saving money on the jet fuel. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. I know you're so busy, and coming in here, all of you together to be on the show, we can't thank you enough. My guest today on Fayette Focus from Fayette County Commissioner's Office, all three, Dan Dean, Tony Anderson, Jack DeWeese. Thank you so much. Hey, everyone. Welcome again to another edition of Fayette Focus. Harry Wright with you today, my guest from the Fayette County Chamber.
Yes.
We have Merleen Van Dyke. How are you, Merleen?
I'm good.
Wonderful. Usually when we're talking chamber business, we're stuck with Roger Blackburn, but today we get you.
Yes, today you get me.
Because it's a very special event that's coming up, and it's something that Fayette County can really look forward to, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's called Fayette County's Toast to Summer. Tell us about it.
Well, Fayette County's Toast to Summer is a wine tasting and art event. We have 11 Ohio wineries participating and over 40 art vendors.
11 wine tastings and 40 art vendors. So we're going to see different, various kinds of arts, are we? Not just one medium.
Yes, there will be everything from someone that may do oil paintings to fairy gardens and primitive woodworking, jewelry. We've got a little bit of everything.
Now this is going to be where?
At the Fayette County Airport.
And what day is it going to be?
Saturday, June 27th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Great day, folks. 8 hours that you can go if you're artsy, craftsy of any kind whatsoever. This is probably going to be a don't miss, isn't it?
Yes.
Is there a cost for the event?
I was just getting ready to say, the event is free, other than we are charging $5 for parking per vehicle.
Well, that's kind of cool. It's going to be out at the airport. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm assuming that there's going to be different restaurants and music and a whole 10 yards there.
Yes, we have 4 local restaurants that have agreed to be out there selling food. We have 6 different local entertainers that will be performing throughout the day. Little various types of music, so something for everyone.
So this is going to be an event where you really want to get there at 11 o'clock, and you're probably really going to want to stay to 7.
Yes.
You're not going to want to just hit it for a couple hours and say, okay, I've seen it, but you because things are going to be on
Yes.
that you're going to miss. So make plans to stay there for the entire day at Fayette County Airport, located at 2770 State Route 38 Northeast, Washington. Of course, you all know where the airport is. Follow the green and white flashing light, and you can get out there because we know where that is. But at 7 o'clock, the festivities do not stop. We're going to change a little bit. Now, we're going to have a hot air balloon glow.
Yes. Actually, the hot air balloon event begins in the morning. They're selling prepaid hot air balloon rides, and you can go to hotairballoonrides.com and purchase that. And then our event is from 11 to 7, and then at 7 p.m. they will have a beer garden, food, and the hot air balloons will be there to look at, to go up and get a hands-on view, and then at dark they will do the glow.
And when they do that, it's like when they fire up the fire inside those balloons at night, it's going to be a spectacle.
Yes. And same, no admittance fee, but it is $5 for parking. But if you come out and pay $5 for parking, you're more than welcome to stay the entire day.
So actually, you could actually stay at the airport from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and take in both events, make it a full fun family day. Because, look, you're going to want to bring your video cameras, and you're going to bring your cameras. I imagine a lot of cell phones will be snapping photos, too, because those balloons are going to look beautiful against that black night sky and all lit up with the fire inside of them. It's going to be something to see.
Yes, it will.
Now, this is something new, or has it happened
This is
before?
a brand new event. We had been brainstorming about the chamber hosting something new and different. June is Ohio Wine Month, and we had visited a couple of other similar fundraising events and thought, why not here in Fayette County? And the airport has a pilots association, and they'd been talking about bringing back a hot air balloon glow, and so we just decided to combine them and make it a full day.
Full family fun day. Now, it's really interesting that you're concentrating, you're doing the wine tasting, because more and more each year Ohio wines are gaining notoriety as being some of the best wines produced.
I don't think most people realize there's over 200 wineries in the state of Ohio. We have some fairly close. We have one coming from Xenia, Caesars Creek Winery. We have one coming from Grove City. And then all over, the farthest away, we have two coming from Geneva on the Lake.
Yeah, that's up the lake country up in North Ohio. There's quite a few wineries up there, but yeah, people don't associate. I mean, you hear wine, you think of France, the Chardonnays, the Burgundy regions, Champagne regions of France. You think of Southern California, Napa Valley. But when people say wine in Ohio, Ohio's got Buckeyes. They don't have wine, but really, we're getting into the wine business here in Ohio.
We are. Wine tastings that day will be $3 a ticket. You have a ticket per tasting, but you can also purchase a $20 package, and you would receive 8 tickets and a souvenir wine tasting glass.
There you go. So that's kind of like when some of the beer tastings that I go to. That's what they do with your ticket. They give you the glass, and then you're allowed to taste like 4 or 5 different. And that's kind of really cool. And so, folks, if you're into wine and food and art and music, and you want to take a hot air balloon ride, you need to be at Fayette County Airport on June 27th.
That's right.
If anyone has a need for more information, how can they get a hold of the Chamber?
Well, the Chamber's number is 740-335-0761, and Fayette County Travel and Tourism's number is 740-335-8008.
So tell all your friends who live in Ohio, or they're coming in for a visit, or maybe you're going to be around, and let them know. Come on out and taste what Ohio's wines taste like, and see what Fayette County food tastes like. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great time. My guest today on Fayette Focus, talking about Fayette County's Toast to Summer, Saturday, June 27th at the Fayette County Airport, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then followed by a hot air balloon glow that's going to go on until 11 p.m. that night. Thank you so much to Merleen Van Dyke.
Thank you.